everyone. Welcome to the Crossing Church's weekend service. So my name is Nicole. I'm one of the pastors here. And this weekend is about waiting. Do you need help waiting? Are you getting frustrated waiting for life to get back to normal? Are you done with waiting in line at the grocery store? Are you done with waiting for things? How do we actually get help dealing with all this waiting? Well, in order to test this out and test out my own ability to wait, we are climbing a mountain and I cannot wait to get to the top. And I hear we're not even halfway. It's been about 2 miles of uphill and I am getting tired every step. I'm like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And so I am learning to wait while we do this. All right, I'll give you updates. Okay. That's the way?
Yeah.
This is cool. Okay. We'll go up there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Would you like to see a rock that looks like the Millennium Falcon? I can't even talk. Okay, hold on. What's its good angle? Over here. Is this the good angle? Snow. Okay, so we're quote almost there. Up there. Okay, that's where we're going. Doing great. Trying to wait patiently to get to the top. And when I say wait, I mean actively wait, because I am actively hiking. Okay, so remember how I said we were almost there before? We weren't almost there before, because almost there to me means like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I think I don't know how long we've been going. I might have cried. I'm having a great time. Waiting to get to the summit is really hard. Okay, I have to keep going now though, because now we're like 3 miles up a mountain. So I'll see you at the summit. Promise not to fall. I made it all the way to the summit and all the way back down, and I am at home and I'm looking forward to some good food. And so now the question really comes to you. Today is about waiting. How do we deal with waiting? What are you waiting for? What are you struggling to wait for? This hour is for you. Stick with us. Our lead pastor, Andrew Brownback, is going to be talking about how can we wait well. And no matter what it is you're waiting for, he's got some tools and some wisdom from the Bible to help us do this. Enjoy the rest of the service.
Hey everybody, I want to welcome you again to our weekend service. Thanks so much for tuning in online. Even if you're just now jumping in with us, if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Justin Chandler and I'm one of the pastors here at The Crossing. So glad that you're spending part of your day here with us. And I know for some of you, this is your very first time tuning into a Crossing experience, or maybe this is your first time really being able to say like, hey, I want people to know that I'm new here. Here's what you could do. You could type me in the comments right now. We've got people watching online who would love just to say hello to you and welcome you to the family that is The Crossing. Or another way that you could do that is you could send us an email to info@thecrossing.com. That's a way for us to kind of let you know some of the ways that you could get connected here and how you can become a part of this family that we call The Crossing. As many of you are aware of, over this last week, there's been some exciting changes that have happened regarding social distancing in ways that you and I are going to be able to start meeting again on campus here at The Crossing. And here's what we want to let you know about, that even as those changes are coming, there's a lot of things that our staff is currently doing. Really excited to get back on campus with you. But also want to let you know that as we're working our way there, there's just some easy ways for you to stay aware of all of the changes that are happening. And so one of the best ways for you to do that is as you're watching online right now, if you're viewing on Facebook, just like our Facebook page. We're going to continue to provide content and next steps there. You could also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's an easy way for you to get some of the video updates there. But also want to let you know, and you may not be aware of this, but every week we send out a weekly email that just has content that's specific to The Crossing. And so if you send an email to info@thecrossing.com, this will be a way for us to sign you up for that list, and you'll continue to get up to the minute, up to the day changes that we're going to be able to make, and to let you know how we're really looking forward to some of those next steps that we're going to be able to take. But here's just a couple of things that I want to remind you of, some things that we've been saying over the last couple of weeks. The very first thing is that The Crossing has never closed. So even as we get excited about returning to campus, this isn't us reopening The Crossing. We've stayed open the entirety of the stay-at-home orders. And one of the things that we've seen is people continue to engage in our weekend services. People continue to be a part of our groups. But one of the things that we're continuing to celebrate is how this church is making a difference in our city. The over 2,000 books that were donated last week that we had a chance to give to a local elementary school. The way that we continue to meet the needs of the homeless who are on our campus and the services that we provide there. The volunteer opportunities that come up and the ways that people continue to step into those. And so I want to let you know those two things, that we're not reopening, right? We were never closed, but we're returning to campus and we're looking forward to that. And the difference that this church has been making for over 30 years, we continue to make today. And one of the best ways for you to step into that difference-making opportunity is through you being able to give online with us. And so you could go to thecrossing.com/give, or you could give through our app. There's a little button that's there. And so even if you need to pause watching right now so you could be able to jump into that, that's a way for you to make a difference alongside us. That my wife and I choose to contribute regularly here. It ensures that every time we give and regularly give, it allows us to make that difference. You could do that. Or you could choose today to give your first one-time gift to The Crossing, and that ensures that the difference that this church has been making for over 30 years, that you're going to have a chance to be a part of it this week, and we'd love for you to step into it. Today, we're beginning a brand new series called OMG. And whether you like to admit it or not, there's these moments for you and I, even if you're exploring faith, we have these moments where we go, where is God and what is he doing? And you may have felt that way over these stay-at-home orders, like where is God? And what is he doing? And today I'm really excited because you're going to have a chance to hear from our lead pastor, Andrew Brownback, as he shares where is God in the midst of the waiting. And as so many of us are counting down and waiting for life to return back to normal, we're going to have a chance to see today how God is working in and through that. And so I'm excited, even during this next song, as you and I are waiting for what's to come, there's going to be a way that God is preparing you and I for what's in store ahead of us. And so I want to say one more time, thanks so much for joining us online. Thanks so much for being a part of our weekend experience, and enjoy the rest of our service.
'Cause you're a man of your word, yeah. Oh, come on, sing this with me. All things are possible when we believe. Old chains are breakable when we receive your way. You keep your promises. If you said it, we believe it. If you said it, hey. If you said it, we believe it. Hey. Well, if you said it, we believe it. You're a man of your word. If you said it, we believe it. Oh, 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 oh. If you said it, we believe it. 'Cause you're a man. Hey. You're a man of your word.
All things are possible
unbreakable. When we receive Yahweh, you keep your promises. Yes. If you said it, we believe it. If you said it, 'cause if you said it, we believe it. Well, if you said it, we believe it. 'Cause you're a man of your word. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. If you said it, we believe it. 'Cause you're a man. Say you're a man of your word. We have this confidence. You'll finish what you started. God, you have never failed. You won't start with me. You're present in every step, patient with every heartache. God, you have never failed. You won't start with me. Hey, yeah. If you said it, we believe it. Come on, sing it out. Hey. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. 'Cause you're a man, say you're a man of your word. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. Oh. Huh. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. 'Cause you're a man of your word. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. Oh, if you said it, we believe it. Oh, 'cause you're a man of your word. If you said it, we believe it. Yes. If you said it, yeah. If you said it, we believe it. If you said it, yeah. If you said it, we believe it. Oh, I believe. If you said it, hey. If you said it, we believe it. If you said it, we believe it.
Well, welcome everybody. My name is Andrew. I'm the lead pastor here at The Crossing. And if you're brand new, I want to thank you for jumping in with us this week online. And I'll tell you, over the last couple of weeks, I've learned something new about myself. And I know many of us, we're in a season where we're all in self-discovery mode right now. But what I'm learning about myself is that I am terrible at waiting. And I mean, part of me already knew this. Part of me already knew, when I get stuck in traffic, I have a hard time with traffic. In fact, it's one of the benefits when I was driving out here to this beautiful location where we're shooting today. It was one of the benefits, knowing that because there's a pandemic, there is absolutely no traffic. But every time I go to the DMV, I die a little bit inside. I'll tell you, these last couple of months, though, my inability to wait has just been insane. For instance, whenever I watch a show on Disney Plus or on Netflix and that little circle pops up, the buffering little icon, I get upset. If it lasts for a second, I start getting frustrated. If it lasts for more than 5 seconds, I exit out and I'll try again because I have no patience for buffering. Or the other day, and this one was really bad. The other day I had to stop by Target and I had to pick up 4 items, just 4 quick things. And in my mind, a trip to Target for 4 items, it should take maybe 7 minutes. But I got there and I saw outside of the store, there was a line of about 100 people waiting just to get in. And I get it. I understand that this is for everyone's safety and everyone working is trying to keep us safe, the employees and us, the customers. So I'm not as upset at any employees at this moment, but I start getting a little frustrated with all of you. All of you who had the exact same idea I had of showing up at Target at the exact same moment. So I walk all the way back to the back of this line to wait to get into Target. And I do what all of us do in this moment. I pull out my phone and I scroll on my phone and play around with it for about 3 minutes. And then I let out a deep sigh. You know, the And I do that about every 3 minutes. In fact, I don't know why all of us sigh when we're waiting, but it's something that all of us do. Now, finally, after about 20 minutes, I get in the store and I quickly run around Target. I pick up the 4 items and I get to the checkout lanes and I see that there are about 100 people in line in front of me. It just drove me crazy to wait and wait and wait. And I left Target. I was frustrated, I was annoyed, I was irritated at all of humanity because I am terrible at waiting. Now, how many of you today would say that you struggle with waiting? In fact, if this is you, you can just write me in the comments or do the little hand raise icon and just throw that in the comments. It's just so all of us know we struggle with waiting. Or maybe you're sitting next to someone in your host that's really impatient. Feel free to write their name in the comments as well, just so they know that you're aware that they struggle with waiting as well. You see, you may not know this, but the average American, they've actually done research on this, will spend 6 months of their lives waiting in line. Isn't that crazy to you? 6 months of your life will be spent waiting in line. That ends up being 3 days of every year that you are simply waiting. Or many of us, we hate making a phone call to a company and then they place us on hold. You know, you get that little song and then every minute or so, someone comes on and they say, thank you so much for your call. Your call is important to us. We will answer it whenever we please. You may not know this, but you will spend 43 days of your life just waiting for someone to pick up that kind of phone call. You see, you and I, we struggle with waiting. In fact, it's one of the things that makes where we are today so difficult is because many of us, we're waiting. We're waiting for life to return to normal. We're waiting for businesses to open back up. We're waiting for schools to open. We're waiting, many of us, we're waiting for the day when our church can gather again. You see, today, we're going to look at a story from the Bible around waiting. And I'll tell you, over the last few weeks, as I've been studying and reading this story, God has been teaching and challenging me in some really powerful ways. And what I think today is God is going to do the exact same for you. And so I want to encourage you, if you haven't done this yet, I want to encourage you to share this video so that your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers can jump on and be part of what God may want to do in and through them today. Because I believe we all are going to need to hear what God has to say to us today. And today we are kicking off our brand new series, and we're talking about a guy by the name of Moses. Now, if you're new to faith, Moses is an A-list celebrity in the Bible. His story is one of the most well-known stories. In fact, he is the center of movies like the old movie 10 Commandments, or a while back, Prince of Egypt, or even a newer one called Exodus. You see, the story of Moses is so well known because God uses this one man to save an entire nation, the people of Israel, from slavery in Egypt. But what many people do not know is that the story of Moses, it begins with waiting. You see, God had promised the people of Israel a home, a piece of land that would be their own. But then we come to the book of Exodus. And what we see in Exodus chapter 1 is, and if you have a Bible, I want you to grab your Bible and follow along with us because we're going to be in chapter 1. What we see in Exodus chapter 1 is that the people of Israel have been slaves in Egypt for 400 years. You heard that right. For 400 years, this promise has gone unfulfilled and they've been slaves. I mean, you think spending 6 months of your life in line is bad? That's nothing compared to what the people of Israel had to face. You see, every day they wake up and they worked in brutal conditions, with harsh labor, with no end in sight. But it doesn't stop there. In fact, it gets worse. You see, one day Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, decides there are too many Israelites. And so he decides he wants to reduce their population. So the first thing he tries is he gets these 2 midwives to help him and to kill every baby boy that is born to the Israelites, which is in itself an incredible story. And I wish I had time to go into that today, but I don't. And so in fact, if you want to join me Monday at 9 a.m. on Facebook Live or YouTube, I'm going to actually share a little bit of this story. It's one of the best stories in the entire book of Exodus that you have probably never heard. So I want to encourage you to join me with that. But so when Pharaoh's plan A fails, he jumps to plan B, which we find in Exodus chapter 1, verse 22. Then Pharaoh gave this order to all the people. Every boy that is born must be thrown into the Nile, but let every girl live. Now, I want to pause here because this is important. After 400 years of waiting for God to show up, 400 years of waiting for God to save them, things go from bad to worse. Can you identify with this at all? Now, you've probably never faced genocide or slavery, but I bet there have been some moments where you needed help, where you needed God to show up in your life. You prayed for God to help you. You prayed something like, God, I'm tired, or God, I can't do this anymore. And you pray for days, and then weeks, and then even months and years, and you get no answer. And you're stuck waiting. And then one day things go from bad to worse. I mean, maybe this year you entered 2020 and your finances were already tight. And you've been praying, God help me, God help us just to make ends meet. And then 9 weeks ago, you got furloughed or let go. And you can't believe it because now things have gone from bad to worse. And you're wondering, where are you, God? What are you doing? And you're just so tired of waiting for God to answer. Or maybe you already felt alone or isolated coming into this year. Maybe you were already praying for good friends or for a community to get formed around you. But now things have gone from bad to worse. And so you're thinking to yourself, really, God? Like, I wasn't already struggling? Now I need one more thing to deal with this year? You see, this is chapter 1 of the story of Exodus. You see, the people of God are discouraged, they're oppressed, they're worried, they're anxious. They're wondering if God will ever show up. Now that's chapter 1. But in chapter 2 of Exodus, we see God does show up. And so you and I, we get ready. We get on the edge of our seat because we want to know, how is God going to save his people from the great Egyptian empire? Is he going to send a mighty warrior or an army of angels to save his people? Of course, God will do something spectacular to save them, won't he? They have been waiting for 400 years for God to show up. And then we come to chapter 2, verse 1. And it says, now a man of the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. After 400 years of waiting for God, how does God show up? What does God do? He sends a baby, a child who is by law supposed to be thrown into the river. And so this mom, and you and I, we all get this. She can't do it. So for 3 months, she hides her little baby boy until she realizes that others will find out. And so then we come to verse 3. It says, then she got a papyrus basket from him, and she coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank. She saw the basket among the reeds, and she sent her female slave to get it. She opened it and saw a baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said. So what happens is Pharaoh's daughter just happens to be going down to the water, and she sees this basket, and she opens it up, and she sees this baby. And then we come to verse 10. And verse 10 says this is Pharaoh's daughter, she named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." And so this little baby named Moses will be raised in Pharaoh's house. And God will begin to shape and mold Moses into the exact right person who can bring freedom and hope to his people. You see, the good news is God does take action. God is on the move. The difficult part, though, is that no one sees it happen. No one knows. You see, on the surface in this story, nothing has changed. The Israelites, they continue to wait. They continue to wonder, where are you, God? But we, the reader, we know that while they wait, God is busy making a way. And you know what? The same is true in our lives today. While we wait, God is making a way. We wait, but God makes a way. You know, some of you are waiting to go back to work. Or others of you, you're waiting for your marriage to go back to the way it used to be. Some of you, you're waiting for the day where you don't feel so anxious or discouraged. What I want you to hear from me today is that while we wait for that day, God is making a way. It may not look like that on the surface of your life, but I promise you, He is making a way. In fact, I'm seeing this in my own life. One of my children, over the past few years, has faced some challenges. And he has had to overcome some things that on the one hand, as a dad, they make me so proud of him. But on the other, I look at some of the obstacles he has faced, and it absolutely breaks my heart. Now, my son is enrolled at this fantastic school right here in Costa Mesa, Davis Elementary. Go Davis Ducks. And over the past year, we have seen a tremendous amount of growth in our son. It has been an absolute answer to prayer. And then about 9 weeks ago, school's closed. And over the following couple of weeks, we saw a lot of regression. And it has been really difficult on our family. My wife and I, we found ourselves in this season of waiting, of wondering, where are you, God? To be honest, we've had moments where we felt discouraged and frustrated as this time has just continued to stretch on. But recently, and just recently, we are beginning to see how God is making a way. I mean, we see how God has blessed us with this amazing teacher for our son, who has gone completely above and beyond, who has made additional time to meet with our family over Zoom and to offer help and support. I've been able to sit off screen with my son as he's attended some of his classes online. And I've seen the way some of his teachers engage with him, how they coach him and encourage him. And I and my family, we've been able to incorporate some of the things we're learning from his teachers in the classroom. And we've been able to place that in our family, in our discussions. This would have never happened if school were going on as normal. Now, is school through Zoom ideal for us? Of course not. In fact, when schools reopen, I can promise you, I will be first in line to drop my kids off at school. But while we wait for that day, what I'm seeing is God is making a way. One more. This year, our church, for the first few months, we had been seeing God do incredible things. Over the first 2.5 months of this year, we were seeing more adults, more students, more kids showing up every single weekend than before. We had more people who were stepping up and were serving. We had more people making a decision to follow Jesus. We had more people getting baptized. I mean, we were off to a tremendous start as a church. And then the day came where we had to move to online only. And again, this is just me here being honest with you. I found myself in this place waiting and wondering, what are you up to, God? God, our church has had such great momentum. And like that, we've had to pivot to being online. But then I began to see how, again, God is making a way. You see, these past few weeks, I've been meeting people who were way too intimidated to ever show up to a physical building for church. But because we are online only right now, they decided to check out our services from the safety of their home. And now, as they join us week after week, they are starting to see God working in their lives. And it's because of you. It's because of your willingness to share and invite people to join you for services while we wait to gather together on our campus. You see, God, right now, today, is making a way for people to explore faith and experience the life-changing ways of Jesus. In fact, now we have people from Nevada, Indiana, Arizona, Ohio, Alabama, and even the great state of Illinois. They're all joining with us every weekend because God is making a way. In fact, I thought it'd be fun right now, just from whatever city you are watching this from. It could be Costa Mesa or Orange or Irvine, or it could be anywhere in the U.S. Just write in the comments right now the city where you are watching this service from. And it will just encourage and remind all of us that while we wait, God is making a way. You know, I don't know what you face today, but what I do know is that there is a God who will make a way for you through it. You know, one of my favorite verses from the entire book of Exodus is Exodus chapter 2, verse 23, which says, "The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of the slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob." And so God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them. You see, while Israel waited, while they wondered, while they cried out to God, God heard them. God saw them. God was concerned, and so God made a way. He sent a child, born to a second-class citizen, to this obscure family who would one day grow up and rescue his people. You see, while the people waited, God made a way. And this was true in the days of Moses, and it's also true today. And how do I know this? It's because the story of Moses, it points to a bigger story. You see, centuries later, the people of God they would find themselves oppressed and discouraged and beaten and exhausted. And again, they would cry out to God for 400 years. And all they would hear from God was silence. And things for them would go from bad to worse. But then one day, while the people waited, God would make a way. He would send another child, born to a second-class citizen, to an obscure family. And this child would grow up and he would rescue his people. He would change all of human history. Because this child, born of a virgin, would come with a message that wherever you are in life, whatever you face today, whatever mistakes you might have made, that there is a God who is making a way. There is a God who loves you, who offers you hope and life and forgiveness, who will give you exactly what you need. You know, a lot of times, many of us, we show up to church and what we're looking for is a few key principles that will make our life a little bit better. You know, we want 3 easy steps to stop worrying, or we're looking for 5 principles so that you can get better at waiting. And that's fine and that's helpful. But today, what I want to invite you to is to not a bunch of principles, but I want you to meet the person who loves you and cares for you. You see, God sent his son Jesus. In this moment, while we're waiting, you can experience all that Jesus has in store for you. And I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what set of circumstances you are struggling with today. You know, for some of you, maybe you found us online today because you are in a season of waiting. And maybe the greatest need you have in your life is to meet the person who loves you, the God who will never leave you. In fact, if that's you, in a moment, I'm going to say a prayer for you, and I want you to experience for the very first time the person of Jesus who loves you, who will be there with you no matter what you face in the upcoming weeks or years. And I also know there are many of us who we've been around church or faith for a while. And what I want to encourage you with today is, you know what? This week, we're going to have a few moments where we wonder. We're going to have some moments where we find ourselves waiting and asking the question, what are you doing here, God? Where are you, God? How come you're not doing things the way I want you to do? Well, here's what I want to ask of you. I want to ask you that every morning this week, you pray this prayer. That God, whatever I face it with the knowledge that you are making a way. And you are with me, and you will never leave me. And so I want to pray for you, and I want to pray for any of you who want to experience the person and love Jesus has for you today. So let's pray, and then we're going to have a chance to worship and sing a few songs together. So let's pray. And so God, we come before you today. And God, all of us find ourselves in a season of waiting, and none of us are very good at waiting. And so today, God, as we come before you, I pray that we experience the person of Jesus, the love Jesus has for us. I pray for any of us who are new to faith and new to church, and who in this moment we have been feeling something that we've never felt before. And we sense, God, that in this season you are doing something in our lives. And so for those people who are praying right now, here's what I want to ask you. Those of you who want to experience Jesus' love and forgiveness for the first time, I want to ask you right now just to shoot me an email at andrew@thecrossing.com so I can cheer you on and encourage you. And God, for all of us this week, as we face some things that we never saw coming, as we find ourselves in a position of waiting and wondering, God, help us to enter this week with the knowledge that there is a person who is walking with us. That you, God, will find a way. We love you, God, and we pray this in your Son's name. Amen. You know, as we find ourselves in a position of waiting, all of us are going to be crying out to God in this season. And in fact, these next couple of songs that we're going to get a chance to hear and sing along with are an opportunity for us to cry out to God as we are in a season of waiting. So let's join together, let's listen to these songs, and if you feel comfortable, I want to encourage you to sing out the lyrics as a declaration and prayer to God. Thanks everyone for joining us today.
I want to encourage you and invite you to respond with us. That as we sing these songs and as we sing these words, that they would be our response to God. That in seasons of waiting, in seasons of discomfort, of not knowing what the future may look like, we can invite God into that space. We can invite Him to do His work here. to do his work in our hearts as we wait for him, as we seek his perspective, and as we sing and reach out to him today. So let these songs voice your heart's cry today, and let's sing to our God together, because he is always faithful, and he is holding us. He is holding the future, and he is holding us here in his hands today. Let's sing this out to him. Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won. Oh, you have never failed me. 'Cause your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me. Oh, I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. Oh, my heart will sing your praise again. Oh, 'cause your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me. Oh, you never fail me. Oh, we believe you. Oh, yeah. As we sing this out, let's declare it out with confidence. I've seen you move. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I see you do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I your promise, 'cause your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me. You never failed me, Lord. No, yes. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. You're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Come on, sing it out with us. I'll raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me. I'll raise a hallelujah. I will watch the darkness flee. Yeah. Oh, I'll raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery. Yeah. I'll raise a hallelujah. Fear, you lost your hold on me. I'm gonna sing. So I'm gonna sing in the middle of a storm. Oh, louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Yes. Let's sing this out from our hearts today, declaring, even in the waiting, even in the uncertainty, even in the unknown, that we're gonna sing out our hope. Because our hope doesn't depend on what we see right now, but our hope is fixed on our God, who holds the future, who's already won, who knows what's ahead of us. And we can sing out that hope confidently today. So sing it out with us. Come on. We'll sing a little louder. 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 Yeah. Sing a little louder. Sing a little louder. Oh, sing a little louder. Here we go. Oh, sing a little louder. In the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder. Louder than the unbelief. Sing a little louder. Oh, my weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. Oh, heaven comes to fight for me. Sing a little louder. In the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder. Oh, louder than the unbelief. Sing a little louder. My weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. Heaven comes to fight for me. Sing a little louder. And I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Sing that again. Oh, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Yeah, you're alive today. 'Cause if you said it, we believe it. Oh, if you said it, we believe it. Yeah, yes. If you said it, we believe it. Oh, if you said it, we believe it. Oh, you're a man of your word. Sing that out. If you said it, we believe it. Oh, if you said it, we believe it. You're a man of your word. If you said it, we believe it. Oh, if you said it, we believe it. Oh, you're a man of your word, yes. I don't know about you, but I find so much hope in that today. I find so much peace and so much comfort knowing that He keeps His promises. That what He says He's gonna do, He does. And I can count on that. Even in the waiting, even when I don't know what's next, I can trust that He does and that He is good. So we thank you guys for being with us today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for worshiping. And we pray and we hope that this encourages you today. That as you go out throughout your week, that you are reminded of the God who holds your hands, who holds your life. And He is walking you through your journey today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.